Hello again. I'm still Ben. Back to the hat to see what our topic is today. Which is relationship with Israel and the Middle East. Well, if you've seen any of the videos so far, or if this is your very first, you may have already been able to figure out exactly how I feel about that. But for the sake of the video here, the U.S. relationship with Israel is a huge, huge problem because not only have we funded their genocides constantly since the 40s, but we've also done it at the expense of the American people, which means everyone in favor of that in our government as an elected official betrayed their constitutional vows and are technically, I believe, guilty of treason. The way we've done this, the way that this relationship has played out, and the amount of media blackout that the U.S. and Israel together have been able to successfully dupe a generation or two, or really enough over time, that it's always not until you're kind of middle-aged that you're finding out more behind the scenes of how horrific and evil it is. Especially for my generation, speaking as a junior in high school during 9/11, the amount of propaganda that we got given for every Arab and Muslim community and every nation over there that isn't Israel really should make your blood boil as an American. You should be incredibly upset that you've been lied to this much and this severely. My policies in the area that would be considered the relationship with the U.S. and Israel is there is no more relationship. You do what we tell you now, Israel, or else. And what we're going to tell you to do is you don't exist anymore because you never used to exist in the first place. I mean, I know people are going to really harp on this, and maybe this one will be the video that takes off so that everyone can call me anti-Semitic. But not only are the Zionists not really Jews, but all of the Jews that I've known have been great. Okay, Jews, you're fine. Don't get all freaked out or anything. But we've seen that this other group is violently insane, and even all of the faithful at home over in that area have been trying to fight them because they are dragging everything down with their insane white nationalist apocalyptic agenda. But what needs to happen now is that they've got to go. This was never a good idea in the first place. Like, think back and use some logic with me here to consider the end of World War II and what happened here. So what was World War II? What was happening there? Well, the Germans were executing and committing genocide on all of the Jews that they could find and all of the other groups, whether it was mentally handicapped or I don't like to use the word gypsy. That is kind of a slur, but for the sake of the video at the moment, so people know what I'm talking about, the Romani peoples. They were killing as many as they could because they believed them to be inferior. They gathered them all up together and put them in very, tight-knit groups in very specific places so that they'd know where all of them are, before they all started the extermination part. They made sure to gather them all up. So then at the end of the war, when all of these horrible atrocities were finally put to an end, or to a stop at the time at least, then what was the Allied powers' solution? I know. We'll carve out a piece of a map that already exists, and then we'll put all the Jews someplace so we can keep track of where they are. What part of this did you guys think was going to work? This was never a long-term plan. This was never going to be a good idea. Okay, we have to address the problem, which is in fact anti-Semitism, rather than come up with some bullshit, temporary solution, like just giving them a piece of land that wasn't theirs. That's not okay. It's not okay for anybody involved. And now that all of the rug pull and the wool from over our eyes has been lifted, since they're so very blatant about their genocides now, and they don't seem to really care. They're going for broke over there. The Zionists are absolutely trying to invoke some sort of spiritual war Armageddon, because they, again, completely illogically, not, reading their own scriptures, think that they're the ones that are going to be saved somehow after committing all of these horrifically insane crimes. Boggles my mind, frankly. But when it comes to Israel and the Middle East and the United States' relationship, boy, we all owe the Arab nations an apology and resources and anything else we can help with, because we have scapegoated y'all forever, apparently, and we need to shut this Israel thing down. It was a bad experiment. It was never going to work, and we should take more time and effort to address the problem of people being anti-Semitic in a general sense. You can live here. It's the United States. Everybody's welcome in the United States. That's kind of the point of the United States. You didn't have to have your own place in the first place. It's terrible to think about what people are capable of if they don't have any sort of soul left in their body. My name's Ben Howerson. Sursum Corda.